join President Lincoln in the Civil War. We started working on that several years ago. We had two purposes when we started. One was to correct the great wrong in history that had pretty much left out the story of these soldiers out of the history books of America. And yet we have the words of President Lincoln that you saw when you came down the corridor to this building. Lincoln himself says, without the help of these African Americans, without the military help of these African Americans, he could not have won the war. And if they were key and pivotal in the president winning the war that saved this nation, that kept it united and ended slavery, if they were key and pivotal, how did they get written out of the history books? There's something wrong with that picture. And so realizing that every person has to tell their own story, we decided that we had to build a monument to these guys. And so the second purpose for building this, the first one was to tell that story, and the second one was to help with the revitalization of this community. And those of you who are in this room who are from Washington, D.C. know that when we started working on this in 1992, the U Street of those days was not the U Street that you know today. I would dare say that most of you all who are here tonight wouldn't have dared let the sun go down on you up here in this neighborhood when we first started working on this. And so when we started talking about building a monument up here, people said, "Why are you going to build a monument up there? You're going to build it in out someplace where nobody's going to come to see it." First of all, we said if we build it, they will come. First of all. But secondly, the only way we're going to get them to come is if we manage to build something that is so powerful and so touching and so has so much value that they will leave the comfort of downtown, leave the comfort of the mall, and come into the community. So we'll be judged by both of those, by how well we do both of those things. And I might just say, some people think we did the latter part of it too well, Tanahashi. They say that the revitalization part we did too well, that the prices have gone up so much around here, and the taxes have gone up, and the rents are up so much that we need to tamp down on some of that now. I know PNC doesn't think we ought to tamp down on it. And I don't think we should either, but I'm just saying that some people are saying that. We'll take those lumps whenever we can. But on the first matter, I will say that as we start talking about the 150th anniversary of the Civil War, for those of us, Harry Jones and myself and others who've been out here toiling in this wilderness for so long, we're just glad to see people talking about this now and talking about this. And I'm glad to go to these parks and have the Park Service tell people slavery was the cause of the Civil War. I was in Appomattox a few weeks ago. They showed me a whole wall at Appomattox that had the story of African-American soldiers that were there that confronted Robert E. Lee on the last days of this war. He looked out and saw the 25th Army Corps, a whole sea of black soldiers who had been in the war for 2 years, many of them, as seasoned soldiers, and he decided it was time for him to surrender. And cut this out because something bad was getting ready to happen to him. And so I'm glad to see that they are finally getting that story out there. It's going to take us a long time. We're swimming against a sea of 2,000 books that have been written about the Civil War, most of which got it wrong. And so we're swimming against a whole sea of information out there, but we're having fun at it, and we're glad to have you here tonight. And you're going to get to have a little fun with us tonight because one of my colleagues here, Tanahashi Coates, is going to talk about his particular take on this. And so I'm going to turn it over to him now, and then after that, he and I will have a little dialogue.